So I've got a turkey breast that I've just cut into 4 equal-ish pieces. I've got one just here. And when you're cutting anything that you're looking to flatten, whether it's a chicken breast, a turkey breast, anything like that, when you think about a chicken breast, I'm gonna use my hand as an example. When you're cutting into it, if you cook it normally, you kind of cut it this way to eat off the end. But you notice the grain in the chicken breast kind of runs this way. So when you cut it into chunks to flatten, flip them this way so that the grain is going up and down, and it's gonna make it a lot easier to pound out flat, which is exactly what you want for a schnitzel. So I've got mine sitting like that, looking all pretty and delicious. Well, not yet, it's actually raw, so it's not delicious yet. Don't eat it yet. But now we wanna flatten this out. I always like to use a piece of parchment paper on top just to make sure things kind of stay contained. Now, if you are at home and you have something like this, a meat mallet, great. Fantastic, go for it. Personally, I do not have a meat mallet because this is kind of a unitasker. It only does one thing in the kitchen, so I'm not using that. If you don't have that, you could always use a heavy bottomed skillet, something like a cast iron or a stainless steel skillet. That one you wanna be a little gentle with because it's pretty heavy. But my personal favorite implement for pretty much most things in the kitchen, good old-fashioned rolling pin. Always good. This baby, good for making pie, good for flattening stuff out. It's a joy, so let's get going. All you wanna do is just kind of go to town on it. When you are trying to flatten out some meat, I'm trying to talk in between all the smashing so we can hear, I'm really waving this thing around today. You wanna get it about 3/4 of a centimeter flat, and while you are doing this, you kind of wanna hit it like you're playing a timpani, if that makes sense to anyone. You kind of hit and go out, kind of like does that make sense? Because if I was just to go straight down, I might blast it in half, and we don't wanna do that. So just get that nice and flat. Once it's pounded flat, you're gonna get something that looks a little like this. And this is just 1/4 of a turkey breast. Do you see how big that is? That is like bigger than my hand. That's absolutely huge. So that is looking absolutely perfect. I'm gonna season that up with a little bit of salt, as well as a little bit of pepper. Perfect. And then we're gonna make a little bit of a dredge situation. Now, typically I like to just do like egg and panko, but for this schnitzel, I really wanna make sure it stays on there really well. So I've got that going, and into a shallow dish or a pie plate, I'm gonna go in with 1 cup of flour, pop that on in, and I'm gonna season this. I'm gonna go in with about a 1/2 teaspoon of some garlic powder, just to give it a little bit of flavor, but if you wanted, you could do some spices, whatever you're feeling. Season that up with some salt. I'm going to move my oil because audiences might notice she is smoking. So we're gonna be careful and ignore her for a while. We good, okay, cool. And then I'm just gonna give that a little bit of a whisk together. Now into the second little dish, I'm gonna go in and make what I call my signature Mary Berg's food gloop. And food gloop is egg and mayonnaise. Egg is typically what you do when you're doing a breading station, but I'm gonna go in with 2 eggs. And as opposed to just doing the eggs, I wanna go in also with a little bit of mayonnaise. That mayonnaise already has egg in it. It also has a little bit of oil, a little bit of flavoring, and it helps make it a lot thicker and gloopier. That's why it's called food gloop. So I'm gonna go in with about 4 tablespoons, about a 1/4 cup of that mayonnaise, and just give that a whisk. Now, for a little bit of additional flavor, because this is schnitzel, and schnitzel is kind of a German recipe, I'm also gonna go in with some mustard, a little bit of Dijon mustard. If you had English mustard, you could do that. It's a little bit spicier though, so I'd hold back a bit. I'm gonna go in with a full tablespoon of Dijon though. If you wanted, you could do grainy. I'm going smooth though, because it's gonna help with the gloopiness. And if you take a look at this mixture, I don't think there's another way to describe it. It looks like gloop. It doesn't look that great, but it is super sticky. It's got extra flavor in it, and it's gonna make sure all of the crunch sticks on there. So for the crunch, I have got panko here. Panko breadcrumbs are a Japanese breadcrumb. If you don't have panko, you can use regular breadcrumbs. That'll work just fine. But now to dredge that, you grab that turkey that you've got nice and flattened, pop it on into the flour, give it a toss around, just to go coat. Now, as I kind of alluded to, we are gonna be frying this in a little bit of canola oil, but if you wanted to bake this, you could totally do that too. I would just make that panko golden brown. I would pop it into a pan with a little bit of butter, get it nice and golden, and then you can bake it in the oven until it's perfectly done. By browning it first, you ensure that you're gonna get a golden brown finish on there, so it's gonna look deep fried, but it's not deep fried. But today, we're going big. We're gonna deep fry. All right, into that panko we go. Give that a nice press. Make as much of a mess as you can. That's always key. Perfect. And then we are gonna go into our oil. Now, I have my oil here. It is over medium. This stove doesn't know what medium means sometimes, so it does its thing. So I'm gonna go right on in. Now, anytime you are laying something into hot oil, you wanna do it away from you. So put it in closest to you, and then lay it flat this way. Just in case you get a little bit of a spill, it's not gonna be an emergency. All right, you can already see this starting to go golden brown. That's gonna take about 3 minutes per side. I'm gonna let that do its thing. While that gets cooking, I'm gonna get to work on a delicious kind of slaw situation to go with this. So I've got a bowl here. Into there, I'm gonna go in with about half of a lemon juiced right on into that serving bowl. Then for a little more acidity, I'm going in with 3 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, or white vinegar rather. You could also do white wine, you could do apple cider. This is gonna kind of cut through that deep fry of that schnitzel, make it nice and delish. To counteract all of that acidity, half a teaspoon of sugar is gonna go in. I'm also gonna go in with about half a teaspoon of that Dijon mustard, just for a little bit of flavor. Give that a whisk. Wait, I need another whisk, 1 second. I'm finally, after 3 years, aware of where the whisks are. Feeling pretty good about it. Give that a good whisk. Season that up with a little bit of salt. You can also go in with some pepper. And then I'm just using a neutral oil. I'm going in with canola oil. You could also do olive oil, about a 1/4 cup, whisked right on in. Beautiful, beautiful. And then for the slaw, I love Napa cabbage, or Savoy cabbage. Napa or Savoy are a little bit softer, really, really nice, but if you just had green cabbage, feel free to use that. You could also just buy a bag of pre-made coleslaw. I'm gonna pop that right on into the bowl, along with some thinly sliced red onion for a little bit of crunch and spice, and then a little bit of thinly sliced cucumber. If you want, you could do peppers, you could do carrots, whatever you're feeling. Can you even deal with how good that looks? Listen, if you wanted to bake this turkey schnitzel, you totally can. You just want to brown that golden brown panko beforehand. But why would you when you can have something that looks like this? It's so good. Oh my gosh. It's a dream. All right, so that schnitzel's been cooking for just about 3 minutes per side. Since we pounded it nice and thin, it cooks up really, really quickly, which is a dream. So I'm just gonna transfer that onto a sheet pan lined with a rack. That makes sure any excess oil kind of drips away. But while it's still hot, I'm gonna season that up with some salt. Just go right on there. While it's still warm, you're gonna get that salt to stick on there beautifully. I personally, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really pumped about this piece of turkey schnitzel because it kind of looks like a bunny. Can you tell? What a thrill. These are the things that bring me joy in my life. All right, this is looking beautiful. You've got that golden brown crunch. If you were making this in advance, you can pop it into a low 200-degree oven. It'll stay crispy on the outside. It won't be as crunchy, but it'll still be delicious, so you're good to go. All right, now to serve this up, you grab your beautiful piece of turkey schnitzel. We're gonna go with the bunny piece because it's a thrill. And look at the size of this thing. With a 1 turkey breast, one kilo turkey breast, that's only about half a pound, or sorry, a quarter, no, it is half a pound, 250 grams. Guys, metric to imperial, what a time. Looking beautiful. I'm gonna serve that up with that slaw on the side just to cut through the richness. That little bit of onion, that little bit of cucumber on there as well. For me, I love serving it up with a little bit of lemon juice right on top, just to cut through, again, that fat. And then I love mustard, so a little bit of mustard on the side. If you wanted to, you could do a little Dijonnaise, which is just mustard and Dijon mixed together. That would be absolutely beautiful. But to me, that looks like such a great dinner to sit down to. Super inexpensive, quick to put together, and an absolute dream. So I feel like when you're, and delicious, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like we should check though how delicious it is. So let's give it a little cut, see what's going on. And I don't know about you, but when I make turkey schnitzel, I like to share it with my friend named Greg. Greg, I'm coming for you. Okay, let's see what Greg thinks. I think this is Greg's television debut. I'm gonna feed you, Greg. Okay. Okay, let's do this thing. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.